What's going on, guys? Me, David, here, back for another shave. And today, you've already seen it on the little opening montage of photos, but today we got a brand new razor from the Razor Company. First off, I love the black look. I love the little satin feel of it, but, if you guys have been following this channel for a while, you do know that I usually prefer stainless steel razors. I prefer their weight. This is aluminum. Now, is that going to be a problem? We shall see. I will tell you, this razor has more heft than most aluminum razors that I've used up to this point. And I think it's these right here. You see these almost like rivets, so to speak? These two on the side are attached to the bottom base plate. This one here is the actual screw that your handle screws into. And it is, I think they may be steel, because I will tell you, this one has some more weight towards the top end of this razor, which is generally the case, but still it feels a little bit more of a substantial weight than usual. See right there, that's about the balance point there. A little bit high up on the handle. I like the look. I'm not gonna lie, I do. I thought this was gonna be a little funky at first, but it's not. I actually like the look, especially when it has a razor in it. When you have a razor and a razor like this, you see the exposed edges of the blade. That gives it that silver look. Now with those showing, those drilled through the top cap, you see those accents as well. So when it's a put together razor, it looks really, really nice. Like, I do like it. Is it gonna have the same type of like finish that you're looking at from like a Carve or a Carbon? No, it doesn't have that. There is a little bit of a, you could tell something's going on in there. It's not a perfectly smooth. There's no sharp edges in there. I'm not going to cut myself from rubbing my finger along that, so it is rounded off, but you could kind of see that kind of the machining that kind of went on in there, which again doesn't feel bad, but if you're paying attention, you can see it. Aside from that, this coating seems to be pretty goddamn perfect. I wasn't able to identify any issues in the coating. There's no chips, there's no scratches in it. Sorry about that. If you see a little bit of a hiccup in the video, it's because I got a phone call. Forgive me. It happens sometimes. I don't understand. I don't like getting phone calls, but people still fucking insist on calling. Just fucking text me. I don't want to talk on the phone. But no, nobody seems to understand that. Everybody wants a fucking phone call. And I don't like doing it. But whatever. But we're going to give this a little bit of a spin here. Not important what the software is. I am using my Kill Soap today. I'm trying to get through it. Look at that, baby. Look at that hole. Look at that fucking ring of death. It's happening. It is happening. So I am using this, still trying to get through it. And I just wanted to get into this because the soap is not important in today's video. Today we're actually going to be focusing in on this razor. And of course we're going to go ahead and dip into what I actually had going on this weekend, which was a pretty good weekend. Pretty good weekend. I'm lying. It was a damn good weekend. Well, for the most part. As per the usual, there always has to be a little bit of a hiccup. And this is no different. So, I'm going to load this up. As per the usual, I load up a nice healthy amount here. This board brush has been absolutely phenomenal. One issue though, there is going to be an expiration date on this brush. Unfortunately, every time I use it, a couple hairs still shed. And we're talking about, we're probably like 20 shaves into this. So it's going to be a situation where these hairs, I think, are just brittle and they're going to break. So eventually, at some point, this brush will no longer be usable because it's just going to be bald. This thing is fucking thinning out faster than Marian's hair is. So. So, yeah, unfortunately, I am enjoying it, but unfortunately, yeah, that's going to be an issue eventually. Now, does it still have some time for that? Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a while before it's no longer usable, but it's still a bummer to see that these hairs are that goddamn fragile that it's doing that. Now, maybe if I bowl lathered with it, can I increase the longevity of it? Perhaps, but I'm not going to go that route. I do not enjoy bowl lathering. I will not. I don't use most creams, even creams that I enjoy, because I don't want to have to bowl lather. I like the act of loading from the tub. It just is what it is. It's part of my process, and it's a part of the process that I do enjoy. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see. Okay, so I do have a brand new Gillette Silver Blue in this razor. You guys haven't heard me use that much very often, because I kind of been switching through blades, kind of whatever is available. Well, everything's available, but just kind of what I have more convenient. But for this razor, since it's a brand new razor, never used before, I wanted to use a blade that I am the most familiar with. I have used more Gillette Silver Blues than any other razor, or blade I should say, in the collection. So I'm gonna make sure that this is gonna give it the best chance to succeed. So we're gonna go ahead and start this off. Let's see how it goes. Oh shit. Okay, so very intuitive. It's very easy to find the blade angle on this thing. It is more of a mild feeling razor. If you're somebody that enjoys the Christopher Bradley, the carved Christopher Bradley razor, this is going to be something that I think you will really, really enjoy. Just my initial impressions. I think it has a very similar face feel to something like their C plate. Maybe even D. Their D plate was a little mild too. For anybody that suffers from like hand fatigue, maybe you got some arthritis setting in, let's face it, there's a bunch of old sons of bitches in this hobby, and that's okay. The old people need some products for them too, and that's going to definitely help. Nice and light. Again, it doesn't feel like bake light, slant light, but it is a lighter razor. So for somebody that those stainless steel razors do offer a little bit of problems for you with your grip, definitely a real legitimate option. What I'm going to do on this pass is I'm going to really wet the handle. I'm going to soak it all up. Maybe even get a little bit of soap on my fingers here and see how that coating reacts to having a real slippery agent. Water is slippery in itself, but if you add the addition to all these butters and oils that are in these soaps, we can really see how that works. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop my whole razor in my water. There you go. That's all wet right there. I'm gonna go ahead and not get a crazy amount of soap, but we're gonna get some. Cause I'm always interested, because I'm somebody that's a huge fan of knurling. This doesn't have much knurling. It does have like these notches. Can you guys see that? Yeah, you guys see I have those notches. So let's see how that reacts. So, and this, the against the grain pass, I'm just grabbing the smooth side. So those notches aren't going to be really useful at all for the way I hold this razor from my against the grain pass. No slippage, not bad. Again, do I feel slipperiness because obviously I have all this soap in my hand? Yeah, but I don't find it difficult to handle at all. For those of you guys that are shower shavers, that could be significant. Soap, water, steam, that can all take an effect. So all in all, that's pretty good. Now I'm gonna wash all this goddamn soap off everything, because it's just weird to have that, but it handled it well. And when wet, it actually feels more grippy than when it was dry. So that's kind of cool. Not gonna lie, that coating is pretty cool. If you're familiar with the DLC coating from like Razor Rock that they often use, this does not feel anything like this. This almost has somewhat of a rubbery texture to it, probably because of that satin finish. It is not as glossy or as smooth feeling, so to speak, as the DLC coating from Razor Rock. So this weekend, we baptized my granddaughter. Beautiful ceremony. at the church in the Placito Olvera, which is a very famous street with a lot of things that are based on Mexican culture. It's one of the places I guess we kind of settled in when we came to LA. Really cool spot, just oozing with Mexican culture. And one thing that my granddaughter hates when she bathes, she is hysterical when you wet her hair. She doesn't like it. So, of course, obviously, if you're familiar with the baptism, and if you're not a religious person, please don't get offended by all this shit. Well, actually, I don't give a fuck if you're offended. We believe. If you don't like it, I guess you can fucking go ahead and click off now. I was going to try to be politically correct about it, but don't fucking watch if you don't like it, I guess. But, now, do I mind if you don't believe? No, absolutely. You have the right to believe or not believe in whatever you want. But you being offended by it, that really doesn't matter. But, so, if you're not familiar with the baptism, obviously you're in the Catholic Church. The priest eventually pours holy water over the baby's head. And the godparents, it's not important who the godparents are, paid for the private ceremony. So sometimes when you have like a mass ceremony, there's a bunch of babies getting dunked. So it's a quick splash and move on to the next person. We had the private ceremony. So the priest went back to the well a few times. He poured water over her head, I don't know, maybe about 6 times. And all of us were tense because we're like, oh, she's going to scream. It was a really cool visual because they had my oldest daughter, Daisy, was the godmother. And the priest had her hold her in her hands like this, like presenting her like at the altar type deal. Then her parents and the godfather all laid their hands on top of each other and then had the baby's head resting on there. And just to see how at peace she was with it, she didn't make a sound. She was smiling. It was an incredible visual. And all of us laughed because we know she hates getting her head wet. And the fact that she just stayed there, it was really, really cool to see. Very interesting because it was just a different reaction than what we were expecting. We thought she was gonna have a fucking fit, and she didn't. She looked very at peace. It was just really cool. Then of course, we had the party afterwards, which was also a lot of fun. In order to save some money for the family, I ended up being the taco man, which I did a fucking amazing job. But then, of course, like I said, there always has to be that one little, oh wait, this is my third and final pass. I gotta go across the green. I totally got spaced out because I was talking. There always has to be that one hiccup. And Rocio had to come home and take care of her mother. She had a little bit of a fever and stuff. But it was just quick to give her medicine and stuff. Well, in the act of getting medicine and all that stuff, of course, Rocio has to fucking crash the truck again. So no serious damage. She's fine. Nobody panic. But of course, she has to fucking do that again. Which, for anybody that has met me in person, my truck is trashed. There's dents, scratches, scrapes, and shit fucked up all over the body. Luckily, there's never any serious accidents, so all the internals work perfect, but every single panel on that truck is fucked. It is not my doing. It's all her. So that was a big old fucking scandal real quick and a little bit of chaos to deal with that. But, you know, the day isn't about us. It's about the baby. So when she eventually got back, I ain't gonna fight, I'm not gonna holler and all that stuff. I just went on with the day and it ended fantastic. It was just an excellent celebration. Friends, family, good food, good company. The baby was getting passed around like a hot potato all day, and she just took it really well. Up until when it got like past her bedtime, like around that 9 o'clock hour. She's usually in bed around 8. Then she was getting a little fussy, but man, it was just perfect. Of course, my niece Emma was there as well, so it was cool to get to see her and seeing the kids run around. It's just a real cool, happy situation, man. I had a blast. I had a real blast. So that was fucking, all in all, it was cool. Even with that fucking weird little hiccup, we're all fine and dandy. So that was the end of my third and final pass. We're going to rinse this off and we'll come back for the final thoughts. All right, we are back. And here it is. The Razor Company's brand new razor. I didn't even check what the fuck the name is. Of course, the name and the link to this razor will be down below. And it was probably in the opening credits because by then I sat down, I edited. I actually took the time to go look at what the fuck this thing actually is. Aluminum razor. Jason does a lot of fucking cool things for the community. He brings out a lot of cool, unique products. This is the first product I've seen that's like this. I could be wrong. Some of you guys might have seen others. I haven't seen everything. If you've seen it, fine, good for you. This is the first one that I've ever done, and there's not a whole lot of things that I don't like about this razor. I do like the look. It's not going to be for everybody. I understand that, but especially when it's all put together, blade and everything, it's just a cool accent piece to have those metal pieces popping out of the top cap. Again, it just goes with the razor blade. It just makes sense. It looks to me like it goes. It looks like how it's intended. It works really well for me. This coating is really cool. Again, a lot of people are familiar with the Razor Rock coatings. Those are a lot more slick and smooth. That's not the situation here. This razor in itself, the geometry, doesn't necessarily fit my preferences. You guys know I am much more into a more aggressive feeling razor. Not even so much aggressive, but I love blade feel. This is going to have a much more milder feel to it. So for those of you guys that doesn't want that extra blade feel, I know my boy Seth would actually, I think my boy Seth would actually love this razor. Yeah, for those people that want a little bit more of a mild feel, something that's still very intuitive, very easy to figure out the angle, this is going to be something that works out for you. I really love this coating. I actually hope Jason does more razors. Hopefully something in the future with a little bit more aggression so it can fit my preference. But I really like the look. I like the feel. It's grippy. It is a very interesting coating that I appreciate. I don't believe this is just some basic anodizing, because I've used other anodized razors and they just don't have this feel. I could be wrong, but it's a cool feeling razor. It gets the job done. I'm smooth. It's pretty much all you could ask for. Now it's just going to be a matter if the looks and feel fit you. So if you're somebody that likes the Rockwell 6S in like the 4 and below settings, if you're somebody that likes the carve razor, this is something that's going to fit what you really enjoy. This is not going to give an experience similar to the carbon. So if that's your preferred feel, not going to be for you. But those 4 and below Rockwells, the carve, this is something you're going to be very interested in. I really think you're going to like the performance, because again, it's not even a blade feel that I prefer, but I got a fucking fantastic shave. So it at least shows you it is easy to use, because again, it's not something that I would pick for myself based on the face view. But the machining looks good. The coating is perfect. No issues, no defects. Now I can't guarantee that for every other fucking razor that comes through, but in terms of the quality control, this one, it's about as good as it can get. I would love to see actually in this middle screw if there's possibility to do some kind of little micro imprint or etching of like the logo, TRC logo. That would be kind of cool. That's just me looking at it and be like, yeah, that would probably be cool, a little mini TRC in there. But again, that's going to add to cost, so let's not do that. Make things as affordable as possible. And so yeah, that's it, guys. If you made it to this point of the video, you know how much I appreciate you. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this fucking crazy year. I love y'all. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you on the next shave.